following is a Learfield presentation of the Washington State Sports Network.
He buries it. The Cougs have taken the lead. This place is going to pop off.
This is the Cougar Basketball Hour on the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield. Tonight's show is brought to you by U.S. Bank. Life keeps moving. We're here for every step. U.S. Bank. Member FDIC. Tonight's show is also brought to you by Zappos, where the Palouse comes to play and eat. Now with Coach Kamie Ethridge, here's your host, Steve Grubbs.
Well, thank you very much, and welcome to Zappos as we are here for the Cougar Basketball Hour, and with me and as head coach of Washington State University basketball, Kamie Ethridge, as the Cougars fresh off a win just a little over 24 hours ago. It's still a little bit of a blur still.
It is.
An 85-82 victory over the UCLA Bruins, and they take down the number 2 ranked team in the country by rankings. The biggest win in Washington State University history. Never before have we beaten either a number 1 or a number 2 ranked team, and you get it done yesterday. Coach, first of all,
on the road.
On the road.
Yeah.
On the road
Add that
as well.
too.
Only the second win ever at Pauley Pavilion for women's basketball, and you were there last year when we did it. And here we are here with a big win over the UCLA Bruins. Welcome into the Cougar Basketball Hour. I know it's been a little bit of rough travel for you, but welcome in and welcome into the show.
Yeah, thanks again. Just looking out and seeing so many friendly faces and loyal people, and you guys have been through thick and thin in supporting this program. So excited to be here. We were the Alaska plane that didn't get inspected, that got canceled last night, and so we came in this morning, and I think the kids made a class or two, and here we are. So we took the day off for a lot of reasons, and we'll get at it tomorrow morning.
Yeah, how about a shout out, by the way, to the unsung heroes, Kate Warner, for you dealing with everything, Director of Basketball Operations, to make sure you get on flights and to readjust everything. Casey for me from Learfield. And speaking of unsung heroes, real quickly before we get the show started, I want to thank the 3 J's that make this show work. Jerry, right here, one of the best audio engineers in the business. JP, Jared over there, Perenni, does a great job with the video and everything and Johnny back at our radio station. Unsung heroes that make this thing work, and that's really what it's all about, right? I mean, obviously.
Did they make that up, the 3 J's?
The 3 J's? No, I made that up. I made up the 3 J's. They just happen to be the 3 J's.
We need a T-shirt.
Yeah, Jerry, Johnny, and Jared. But let's get into this game. You win over UCLA 85-82. Unfortunately, not as good of news on Friday night against USC. You did not come out with your best effort, and that made Sunday's game that much more important. Just talk about, I guess, the transition from falling with what you felt were below your expectations on Friday and then responding on Sunday.
Well, I think that's going to be a great question for Bella, who's here with us tonight, and she might be able to talk about Friday night to Sunday, but it just happens. I mean, you can think you're there and you think you're on edge and you think you're prepared for a game, and for whatever reason you fall flat. And we were flat on Friday, and that first half was as bad an effort on trans. And again, USC is amazing if you let them go one-on-one and you let them, just be in the open court and get threes. And that's not just on the person guarding them. It was everybody else on the floor that needed to be plugging. And we were tentative and we were slow on offense, and we didn't get into things fast. So clearly we lost that game in the first half. I loved our second half. I loved our response. But honestly, we could watch that first half film and just it was a motivation for sure for Sunday, because there's no one we can beat in our league when we don't give that kind of effort and trans defense and playing with better pace on offense. And I'm telling you, our seniors took it to heart. Bella was as good as I've seen her ever in her career. Charlize was just back to Charlize, and just an amazing performance by those 2 players that led us on point. Bella was on point and focused to the very end. In every timeout, she was like looking at me going, what are we doing? What are we doing, Coach? What are we doing? And just really as good as she could be, and in so many ways, and held us together, in that second half. So proud of just how she performed. But again, tale of two games, but and how it goes in this league. But really, really happy with our response against a great team at UCLA.
Speaking of Bella, especially early on, she not only showed that she could put points up on the board and impact the game, but she showed that she could do it in a variety of different ways. I mean, she showed some post moves in the paint. She showed a couple of mid-range jumpers. She showed a little bit of everything in that first half when she was helping lead the win.
I really want to know, because I haven't asked her yet, but she pointed to somebody, and I want to know if that was the UCLA bench. Did the UCLA bench say, don't guard her? Or was she taunting her team, the person guarding her? Because that's bad. If she was taunting the person guarding her, that's a bad thing. But if she was responding to the bench, I'm not sure. But, yeah, I mean, those are things that Bella has really grown her game, her outside shot. She has a lot of pride in that now. She can knock that down. You know, don't want her to get infatuated with just that because she's explosive and good inside. I think the point that we've got to get her to understand and our team to understand is we're so good when we put pressure on the rim. The other things will come later, but you've got to start the game with pressure on the rim, and that's what we did against UCLA. Bella was awesome, getting first post down and getting some deep touches, and those were classic Bella moves. Quick, explosive, extra fakes, a little shimmy in there, and got them off balance and made some big-time shots over big players. And then she extended it out and made some jumpers. So again, I just want that I want her to understand what she can do to a team. But it all starts with she's got to be a presence first in the low post.
And for your team, again, to come out and in that second quarter, because we went back and forth in that opening quarter, but then to decide that you guys were ready to take it to them in that second quarter. And again, offensively, defensively, both sides of the court, you were battling with them on the boards, but at the same time, I really like the way you ran your offense in the first half. And obviously, you go back and you look at the game and you take a look at the first half, and 46 points in the first half, hard to argue with that. You ended up shooting what was 54% from the floor in the first half. Talk about, and actually, I'm sorry, it was 66% in the first half. What were you able to do offensively in the first half that was so much good that we saw in Westwood?
Well, I thought we would see a press. And, again, I don't think that would have been a problem when we had Charlize and Ellie in the game at the same time. That got a little bit more tricky when we didn't have Charlize and a little bit lacking a ball handler. But, we went into the game with just two thoughts in mind of how we were going to enter offense in case it was really massive pressure. But it really turned into we could almost run anything we wanted. We could get the ball anywhere we wanted. We could get our entries the way we wanted. It was a big emphasis in our pregame talk about the quality of entry into offense equals the quality of the shot that we get. And then you could go that down the line, and that equals the quality of defensive transition, because if you take a really crappy shot, you're going to probably give up transition. So it all feeds what you do entering offense gets your shot, and then that leads to better trans D, and then that leads to better half court D, and that leads to better defensive rebounding position, and then that leads to better runouts and better entries into offense. So it's just a circle if you can do that well. But that was an emphasis because we were so bad at it against USC. We just didn't enter offense well. We got stuck up there, and that literally made our quality of shot bad, which led to their runouts and their easy baskets, which, again, their first half was just too much for us to overcome.
Again, Washington State win over UCLA, the number 2 ranked team in the country on Sunday as they pick up that big win yesterday. Obviously, everything grooving. You're up by 20 points. You obviously had Charlize go down. We'll talk just a little bit about that in just a little bit. But then let's talk about the game first. You guys saw that lead being whittled into by UCLA. They get it down to 14. Then they get it down to single digits, and it's hang-on time. You're battling the clock. But at the same time, you had players on the court that stepped up huge to make sure we hung on to win that game against the second-ranked team in the country. Bella, one of them. By the way, we haven't even mentioned her 2 free throws at the end, which made it the difference between a 1-point game and a 3-point game, which makes a huge difference at the end. Tara Wallach getting to the free throw line as often as she did. LA, everything on her shoulders as a freshman, the little Italian that you brought up here last week. The way that they were able to come together and stave off that rally when they got it back to within one and still pick up the victory.
Well, we were looking at the box score, and it seemed like it was within 4 or 5 minutes they were down to 4. Like the momentum had totally shifted, and it was like, my gosh, there's 4 minutes left, and it's only a 4-point game or 3-point game, and someone would make a big three, and it would go back to 7, and then we'd get to the foul line, and we were just holding them off. But I think you mentioned that Tara was amazing at getting some points in the paint. I think Jenna had a huge layup that was certainly contested and not called, but she made a layup. And you're right, Bella's free throws, again, a senior stepping up, and I think that just showed her focus throughout the game. That she stepped up in that moment. That made it a 3-point game that just let us, at least we couldn't lose it,
Well, it changed the dynamic of what they were going to call on the play.
Exactly.
Probably.
It was just it was a great, you just knew it. I think the hard part for us was, again, without AT on the court, now you take Charlize out, and now you have the ultimate pressure team, guarding you 94 feet, and then you get the emotion of the officials and the crowd, and you're not going to get very many calls, and you're up, so they're going to get them back in the game, just with some baby calls that usually aren't called. So all the momentum was against us, and again, just had some good play. I mean, Kira played big minutes, Jenna played big minutes, Tara was great. I liked Alex in the first half. I mean, just so many good things happened, and young players stepped up into that big moment, and we found a way to win.
Again, Washington State over UCLA 85-82. I don't know if there's a whole lot to get into here. Obviously, Charlize went down with the injury, was diagnosed down there. You guys weren't able to get back onto a flight until this morning, so she can come back here to Pullman and to the Palouse. Reveal as little or as much as you want, or if you know anything. I'm sure it's on everybody's mind here. Do you know anything more? Do you have any update on Charlize?
It's how everybody views things. When I see a female athlete go down and grab their knee, I think the worst. And it's not confirmed, but it's just, if any of us know Charlize, she doesn't go on the floor. She doesn't fall. She doesn't not get up. So I'm scared of the results. They're doing the test right now, and I'm meeting the doctor after this show. So we'll have a plan in place. But again, for people that have experience with this, it's scary to imagine, and the feeling that, you look at Charlize, you watch her, you see her reactions, you see how she's moving, and especially from someone that went through the same exact thing. And, as a player, you kind of know what happens to your body. And I just think the reality is it probably happened to her body. And, couldn't. I've told everybody it was the saddest happy day ever. It really was. I mean, I literally walked into the locker room and we celebrated, but how could you? You know, that every thought was on just, that kid sitting right there, knowing not just this dream, but potentially she was about to go for New Zealand and go over her national team to try to make the Olympics. So that was coming Saturday that you guys might not have known. She was not going to be here Sunday anyway, and she was going to be gone for 3 games, and she was going to be trying to get New Zealand into the Olympics. Right. So, just the magnitude of, lifelong dreams and big dreams. Right. That again, from someone that's had that injury, it's crushing at the moment, and it's probably the worst moment. Once you have surgery, you just move on and you realize you're getting better and better and better. But at that moment when you don't, you realize you're losing. It's pretty devastating.
Again, here with Kamie Ethridge, it is the Cougar Basketball Hour. Cougars coming off a big win over UCLA. We'll continue talking with head coach Bella Murikatete, going to be joining me in just a little bit. Happy to have you with us. It is the Cougar Basketball Hour from Learfield.
Spokane International Airport is a proud sponsor of Washington State University Athletics. The airport connects Cougar fans and alums with over 50 daily departures to 18 nonstop destinations provided by 6 major airlines, as well as one-stop connections to most major metropolitan centers throughout the U.S. Real-time arrival and flight departure information is available at SpokaneAirports.net. Spokane International Airport, when it's time to fly.
The tradition, the rivalries. Sirius XM is your destination for all things college sports, and we've got you covered. On Pac-12 Radio, there is complete coverage of every school in the conference, including live games, plus 24/7 talk and analysis. So cheer along on the Sirius XM app and listen to your favorite team anywhere. And now you can get 3 months of Sirius XM free. Subscribe now. See offer details at SiriusXM.com/Pac-12 Sports.
There's so much to do and see here at Washington State University Pullman, and we at the Braulsford WSU Visitor Center are here to help, and we love to help. So start your visit with us, and our team of Cougs will share insider tips on the best places to eat or where to catch a stunning view of the Palouse. We'll show you where to park, how to get to your destination, connect you to on-campus resources. So for a better visitor experience, start right here at the Braulsford WSU Visitor Center on the corner of Main and Spring Streets near downtown Pullman.
When you're out driving around the Palouse, be sure to stop by Tick Clock Drug in Colfax. Family owned and operated, they're your one-stop shop for pharmacy, healthcare, apparel, cards, home decor, and gifts for all ages. And for all your printing needs, be sure Cougar Graphics is the place to call. When it comes to paper, Cougar Graphics can print it. Tick Clock Drug and Cougar Graphics on Main Street in Colfax.
Well, Steve Grubbs, welcome you back once again here inside Zeppo. Is going to spend one more quick segment here with Kamie, and then we'll bring up Bella Murakatete as we will get set for what is, again, the Cougar Basketball Hour as we continue on here. Happy to have you with us from Zeppos. Again, the Washington State University Cougars, a big win. And again, Coach, as we take a look at this one, it's right here as in the middle part of the season, or maybe still not quite to the halfway point of the season. Big win. It keeps us right there in the middle of the Pac-12 conference standings. What do you make of this Pac-12 conference after yet another weekend that we saw, which included the Huskies knocking off USC on Sunday, which saw Oregon State not only win, but win big against Utah. You saw, talk about what we see on a night-in, night-out basis with this conference.
I am just amazed at it. I mean, I think everybody I've talked to, Stanford is probably set up best because they don't go to the 4 teams they don't play twice are the UCLA and LA schools, and then the Utah, Colorado. So conceivably, those are some of the top teams. And so as far as winning the championship, I think they're set up to almost win because of the not being double round robin, but everybody else. It's just got to be a crapshoot. And then you look at other teams in other conferences. I mean, they're not even playing top 10, top 20 teams in their entire conference, and ranked super high. So just the magnitude of, we've got, I think, 6 in the top 25 and others receiving, votes, and, little o us, we're not in the top 25. Maybe we're receiving votes, but we beat a top 2 team. Right. So, I mean, who knows? It's just the makeup of this league. It's really – and it's one of those things, like you said, Utah has a bad night and they lose by 25 or 20 or whatever it is. And unfortunately, I hate that because they'll come in motivated to see us. But maybe they'll feel better about beating UW or something like that. So everybody's competitive right now.
And how about this? Arizona State, who we saw, they were winless in the conference. They've won 2 out of their last 3 because they not only beat the Huskies, but they go and beat California on Sunday.
That's right. It's top to bottom. I think that's what everybody's bragged about with this league is top to bottom. But at the same time, it's like we got elite at the top too. Yeah. No. I mean, it's teams that could get to the Final Four.
Yeah. As we get into the stage of the schedule where we are now into late January, does anything change for you as a coaching staff or as a team as you now are into the meat of the schedule? Now we're kind of going on a regular Friday, Sunday. Do you break down the schedule into segments, into months, into certain parts, or do you just kind of go, this is our next game, this is our next weekend? How do you kind of attack that as a staff?
No, we're still trying to figure everything out. But normally, again, I think I've spoken on this. We like to come back here and practice on Monday. It's a real light practice. And last week we actually, practiced for UCLA. We worked on UCLA and then spent Tuesday on USC, Thursday on USC, and then played on Friday. But that might be ideal because there's just so little time to work on that second team on just one day notice when you're fatigued. Mm-hmm. Today we took off. We did watch film with the team for 30 minutes on Colorado, so we're not even thinking about Utah. We're just going to grind it, and it's not a bad thing to take 2 days off more. They didn't lift today. So emotionally, I think, and just the travel and the physicality of that game, I don't think it's a bad day to take 2 days off a week. And you have to just be real strategic with your practices later in the season. You just can't be long. You've got to keep it pretty tight. And you just have confidence in your kids know the stuff and what you want to do by this time of the year.
Again, Washington State with a split weekend as they get set through this gauntlet of the schedule. Everybody kind of has to go through, but there's not even an easy part of the schedule to then get through. But, I mean, have you, as a coach, faced this? I'm trying to remember if we've done it in the past, and I can't recollect a 3-week period where we played 5 teams in the top 16.
Yeah.
At least that's what it was when we started this trip.
Right. No, I think that is that's what I mean. That's insane. Like other conferences have nobody in the top 10, and we're facing 5 out of 6 that are, legit. At times they've been as high as, top 10. So again, it's a marathon. You got to try crazy to win on the road, but you got to hold court. And now the pressure is on us, with what we face and not having, Charlize and obviously hoping to get AT back. We're hopeful this weekend that we bring another player back in and that is a good ball handler and that can help us in those areas. But we got to find a way, and that leads to having a big crowd and having people that come in and support our team and make a great home court environment.
We've got the next 4 at Beasley Coliseum as we're home for the next 2 weeks. It starts Friday night against Colorado at 7 o'clock. Then Sunday, it'll be Utah at noon. The Bay Area schools come up after that, California and Stanford. We've got just about a full house here in the dining room at Zeppo's. Tell all your friends, make your way out to Beasley Coliseum the next couple weeks as well. Am I right on that?
That's right. We can't ask that enough. We've got to get people in the stands.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, Bella will join me. Again, the Cougars a win over number 2 UCLA, 85-82 yesterday, and we'll continue on with the Cougar Basketball Hour. It's next from Learfield.
Nothing works up an appetite like cheering for your Cougs on game day. So why not cheer them on at Northern Quest with an impressive...
Is everything okay? It was like it dropped.
Of course, bowling. Can't join us on the weekends? Zeppo's is the place to be for all ages every day of the week. With bowling, food, and drink specials, we offer prices that won't break the budget. You can even reserve your lane in advance with online reservations at Zeppos.com. When looking for fun in Pullman, look no further than Zeppo's.
Close, convenient, connected. The Pullman-Moscow Regional Airport and Alaska Air get you where you want to go. And with Alaska's One World Alliance, that's just about anywhere. With multiple flights to Seattle most days, plus one to Boise, that's another reason to use PUW to get you home. By the time you're winding your way through Washtuckna on 26 or Winchester on 95, you'll be in Seattle or Boise. Save on gas, higher parking fees, and your time. Fly PUW, the Pullman-Moscow Regional Airport, your Cougar and Alaska hometown airport.
This Washington State University sports broadcast is brought to you in part by Pullman Regional Hospital, the official hospital of Washington State Athletics. The combined expertise of our university and our award-winning hospital are being deployed to provide greater access to resources, education, employment opportunities, and innovations to improve health care and health outcomes for all of us. Learn more at pullmanregional.org. Pullman Regional Hospital and Washington State, partners in excellence.
Well, Steve Grubbs, welcome back here to the Cougar Basketball Hour. I think Bella going to be making her way up here shortly, as she is making her way up as we get ready to continue on here at Zeppos again. Washington State, a win over the second-ranked team in the country, the UCLA Bruins, 85-82. And our pleasure to talk to Bella Mercatete, one of the stars of this basketball team, as she puts on the headsets. And Bella, how good did it feel to finish that one off in L.A. Yesterday afternoon and get a win over number 2 UCLA, 85-82? And by the way, welcome to the Cougar Basketball Hour here from Zeppos.
Thank you.
How good did it feel to get that win?
It felt good. And finally, the last 20 seconds felt like hours. But yeah, I'm glad we got out of there as soon as possible.
Yeah, you had to make sure you got that final horn, get the win, and then get out of there. As again, the Washington State University Cougars over UCLA 85-82. Again, as you take a look at that win, was that obviously winning the Pac-12 tournament championship had to be pretty high on the list last season as far as emotional wins and big wins. Where did this one rank as far as big wins during your time at Washington State?
I love beating UCLA, so it's always nice beating them and just showing the world that when we beat them last year at the Pac-12, it wasn't a fluke or anything. So it's nice beating them, and this ranks pretty high, but we got some big games that we're still looking forward to.
Absolutely, as we've got not only the big games coming up in the conference, but then, of course, the Pac-12 tournament as well. Again, Bella, I got to tell you, watching you from the first game that I saw you in call to where I've seen you now, your growth has been tremendous. I just think you've been an outstanding player to watch and to see your improvement in all different areas of the game. I know some people want to know a little bit about your background. They've asked me about it. Coming from Rwanda, what made you think about Washington State? What brought you here to Washington State? You obviously came over, played up north in Idaho for high school, and then made your way here to Washington State. Want to talk about that journey just a little bit?
Yeah, I grew up down the street in Idaho, and I grew up coming here watching the games, football games and stuff. So it was a pretty easy decision for me, but I just wanted to be close to my family and having a supporting system that was gonna develop me, because I knew what type of player I was and I knew what type of player I wanted to become. And Ethridge and her staff really sold it to me what type of player I could become, and I wanted to be in their hands, and I couldn't ask for anything better.
What about the coaching staff? What about Lori and the rest of the coaching staff and what they've been able to do to turn you into one of the best players in one of the best conferences in college basketball?
It just says a lot about their commitment and wanting their players to get better from where they started and where they when they're finished. And that's the type of coaches they are. They're really gonna put work in and show you a way to want to get better and show you what type of player you could be if you put the work in and stuff. And that says a lot about college, because I just don't think there's a lot of college staff out there who really puts work in outside of outside and really develop your game. And I just don't think you get that a lot, and that's what Lori and Kamie and the whole staff has been doing this. And it's not really just me. If you really look at it, look at Tara, where she came, and where she is, and you look at AT, you look LA, they're already good, but the way they develop players is, I just don't think there's anybody in the country who can any staff in the country can do that.
I mean, they to take a look, as you mentioned, I mean, just the young players, when they come into what they've seen over the last couple of years, to turn it into a team that gets to an NCAA tournament, that wins a Pac-12 tournament. A lot of people don't think that winning a Pac-12 tournament was possible at Washington State, yet you guys went on that run in Vegas. And so what's your mindset when you go into a game? How do you prepare for a game to get ready to go out and battle with some of the best in this conference? Do you listen to music? What do you do pregame to get ready to go out there and go to battle?
I drink a lot of chai tea.
A lot of chai tea.
No, but that's true. I have to have a chai tea every single time before the game. But I just try to keep it simple and stay with the same routine and just eat and chai tea and go shoot and warm up and be ready for the game.
Write that down. I'm going to start having some chai tea before I start broadcasting a game, because it's working for you. It's going to work for me, too. Let me ask you this. The emotion that you show and the emotion when you get a big call, when you get a big thing, is that something that just has it developed over the years? Has it always been there within you? Because I think it's been good, because sometimes that team needs that emotion. Where do you draw that emotion from? Is it just your passion for playing, or where is it from?
Yeah, I think I've just been an emotional player my whole life, and if you've really been following me, I've just been very outgoing and it's really sure what's going on at the moment. But I just, as I grew up and became more older player, I just have learned to just make that emotion be my advantage instead of like just making it to distract me, because that's, gosh knows, the coaches know that's been my something that I really had to work on, to just control my emotions. But I just really take pride in my emotions, because I just think that's something I bring to the team that not a lot of people do, and I try to use that in a good way to motivate people and to just hype them up. And I think I have the ability to make somebody feel so good about themselves. So I try to use that in a good way.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we're visiting with Bella Murray-Catete. Want to stay with me one more segment?
Yep.
Let's do it. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back with Bella. Happy to have you with us. It is the Cougar Basketball Hour from Learfield, and we're back right after this.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing: chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog, because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do it with a Coors Light. Mountain Cold Refreshment made to chill.
2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
It's college football's latest tradition. It's fierce, glorious, and ridiculously delicious. It's the Nom Nom Snack Bowl Flyaway. Just download the Nom Nom app to enter the competition. Play all season long to score free snacks and tasty tailgate treats. One lucky champion will win a free trip for two to the Pac-12 championship game in Las Vegas, Nevada. Go Cougs! Ready for a snack down? Download the Nom Nom app to find out. Nom Nom. Life in the snack lane.
In 2004, Pullman Regional Hospital opened its facility on Bishop Boulevard. It became a model of what a community hospital could be. Word got out about the extraordinary care people were getting, and services were added so that local residents no longer needed to travel to Spokane for many specialized services. Today, 18 years later, the demand has grown, and Pullman Regional Hospital is working to meet these new challenges. Learn more at pullmanregional.org. Pullman Regional Hospital. Your hospital.
Whether you're looking to get away or you're ready to find your way back home, the best way to travel is with Alaska Airlines and the Pullman Moscow Regional Airport. When you fly PUW, you're on an Embraer 175 jet with economy, first class, and premium seating. Multiple flights most days to Seattle and one direct to Boise. With a new runway and instrument approach, PUW and Alaska Air get you there reliably. Use alaskaair.com and PUW, the Pullman Moscow Regional Airport. Close, convenient, and connected.
Well, we do welcome you back here to Zeppo's. It is your Cougar Basketball Hour. Steve Grubbs with you. Bella Murray-Catete making her way back up. If you want to jot down a question or two for Bella, we're going to be with her for a few more minutes, so come up and grab a piece of paper. If you want one for Kamie over the final 2 segments. You can do that as well. We've got some questions in the pen if you want to ask any questions. Again, Bella coming off of a big performance against the UCLA Bruins as she not only would put up a total of what was 20 points, 7 rebounds, but helped the Cougars with those final 2 free throws at the end, 85-82. Your job at the free throw line has been so great as your career has progressed. How much work have you put in at the free throw line? Because you have become one of the most dependable free throw shooters for this team, and it's been something that's been fantastic for you at the free throw line as of late.
Did you heard that, Coach Kamie?
Okay.
So that means every single time we press break, I can't be in the box no more.
Okay, well.
But I did put a lot of work in my free throws, and I still do it. And that's just something you keep doing. You don't just stop, because you stop, you're just gonna lose it. But yeah, I do put a lot of work in free throws and working with Lori a lot, and just staying next to the ball and touching the ball and shooting the ball a lot, and that helps. And I know that other teams look to foul and stuff, so I just have to put myself in position knowing that they're gonna foul me and wanting to get those easy shots.
And when you draw the foul, knowing that, hey, that's a chance for me to get a couple of points at the free throw line, because you are going to be a player that draws some fouls. Unfortunately, due to some of the officiating in our conference, you don't draw as many as I think you should, but we'll get into that maybe on a different day. Is there a part of your game that you think that you've improved on more than anything else over the last couple of years, and what you've been able to do, whether it's been your moves in the paint, whether it's been your rebounding? And I think you've done all of it, by the way, but I just want to know, has there been one spot where you thought you've been a little bit better than maybe you even imagined you could be? Your mid-range shots, maybe. Because, again, I think you've been so good at all of those ways, as far as from when you first stepped foot on this team to where you are now as a fifth-year player.
Yeah, I would definitely have to say my mid-range, and I just have to remember that to just take my time, because when I take my time is when I read the defense and feel confident that I can make the shot, because I just worked on it all summer and I still do. So I would probably just have to say my outside shot.
When I say to you, you are the player that passed Ula Matuga for most games played in Cougar history. You've started more games in Cougar history. You're top 10 all-time in scoring in Cougar history. You're approaching most rebounds in Cougar history, block shots in Cougar history. What does that mean to you as you are starting to not see the finish line, but at the same time as you're seeing the culmination of your career coming, what you've been able to accomplish and know what you still want to accomplish here at the end of the season?
It means a lot. It means that the work I've put in is showing, and that I really have to respect my work ethic and be proud of that. And I think that's something I really struggle in. But it means a lot, and it's just I have to be proud of that and really cherish it.
Couple of quick questions. Obviously, people know you're from Rwanda. When did you first start playing basketball? And then as a part B to that, what brought you from Rwanda to Idaho, where you grew up and then came to play at Washington State?
I started playing basketball when I was 15 years old. I grew up playing soccer and volleyball. But when I was back home, my mom wanted me to get a better education. So we have a friend of mine who was a coach back home. Applied for the school in Idaho, and I ended up getting in. And long story short, I ended up finding a family, and I'm here.
And now you're here, part of our Cougar family, and doing great. How about Bella Murikatete, everybody? Glad to have you with us. It was great talking with you. We've seen each other so much, finally get a chance to sit down and have a good conversation. Bella Murikatete with us. We'll be back after this. It's the Cougar Basketball Hour from Zeppo's from Learfield.
Go Cougs.
You may be eager to break ground on a new outdoor project, but never just start digging. Buried electric and natural gas lines can be anywhere. It's the law to call 811 at least 2 business days before you dig. Spray paint white lines showing your dig zone, and a crew will mark the utility lines. Mark accuracy zone is within 2 feet of the mark, so always hand dig to expose the line first.
Is that right?
Call 811 before you dig. The service.
Yeah, this
Say what?
You can give us back.
Air gets you where you want to go. And with Alaska's One World Alliance, that's just about anywhere. With multiple flights to Seattle most days, plus one to Boise, that's another reason to use PUW to get you home. By the time you're winding your way through Washtuckna on 26 or Winchester on 95, you'll be in Seattle or Boise. Save on gas, higher parking fees, and your time. Fly PUW, the Pullman-Moscow Regional Airport, your Cougar and Alaska hometown airport.
Well, Steve Grubbs, welcome back here to Zeppo's and the Cougar Basketball Hour. I think Kamie Ethridge going to be making her way back. She's on her way as we are here from Zeppo's again with you for the next 20 minutes or so as we continue to get you ready for a coming up weekend of college basketball. Of course, a big weekend last weekend against both USC and UCLA on the road. Again, 4 straight at home, and it will begin with the Colorado Buffaloes coming up on Friday night. Coach, when you think about the Colorado Buffaloes and what they were last year compared to what they are this year, your thoughts on a Colorado team that obviously is right there near the top of the Pac-12 conference standings?
Just better than they were last year. Same exact team, but better. They didn't lose anybody. Sherrard, the little jet point guard, is just is unbelievably good in the open court and just put so much pressure on the rim. They have some snipers that can stretch the floor. Von Lay, a big kid inside. They are legit. You know exactly what they're going to do. They're not tricky in what they do. They guard so hard and physical. So a lot of respect to that team. They've added a couple of pieces and a little bit of depth, but pretty much the team that we beat and played well all 3 times last year is that same team that we're going to get, except they're confident and they're thinking that they can win the league. And you know, the physicality of them and the pressure they put on you on the defensive end is what they do so well. And so you got to find ways to score against that physicality.
As you look at a Colorado team and a Utah team coming in, as you look at a weekend coming in, again, we've talked a little bit about how you kind of prepare for each team. Is it better if they're similar, or does it matter much to you if they're similar as far as the 2 separate teams that come in on a weekend?
Well, it probably would help if they're a little similar, but I don't know. I mean, no one is that identical.
Right.
I mean, they have their own quirks and what they do well. But, you know, at this level, everybody rebounds great. Everybody's elite defensively. Some pressure a little bit more. Some play a little bit of zone. You know, I'm sure Colorado will play a little zone against us. It's a real physical zone and big and aggressive zone. And so just a little bit different. And then Utah, you know, they got Peely. And so if anyone that has Peely is got a beast of their own. So everybody's a little bit different. And Utah lost a player that was a great shooter for them. So they're not quite the same team they were last year. So everybody's a little bit different. And you just, you know, at this time, just getting ready for teams, it has to be more whatever someone brings, we have an answer for. We don't have to start over. We don't have to go, oh, we've never seen this before. We don't know what to do against this team. At this point, you got to be able to adjust pretty much quick and on the fly, and kids have to know how to play right away.
Did get a couple of questions for you. One was, what do you do between games on a road trip? Is there anything that you can give us? Is it all about work? Do you ever get any chance to get a little Kamie time on a road trip between a Friday night game and a Sunday?
There is no Kamie time.
What's that?
There's no Kamie time, but I mean, I thought you were asking for the players. I think the players, it's difficult because normally your 7 o'clock game,
right,
or 6 o'clock game on a Friday night, and so your kids aren't going to bed till, you know, after treatment and shower and eating. They're not going to bed till 11. What we like to do is we like to practice at the same facility. So if we played at USC, our preference would be we get up a little bit later, we watch film, and then we practice at USC. And then, as early as we can, knowing that we need rest. And then we go over to just transfer over, and we're done for the day. We don't have to do anything else. If we want to watch film, we do. This trip with UCLA, we couldn't practice at USC, so actually our kids slept in till 11. They had to eat right up to 11, and then we watched film from 11 to 12. We left, and we went straight to the gym and practiced from, kind of 1:30 to 3:30, but it wasn't near that long or hard. And then we went to BJ's. We went to a restaurant that was already pre-ordered, and food came out fast. And we were so close to our restaurant, or half our kids walked back to the hotel, and they're a little bit more night owls than their coaches are, but it's you want them to go to bed early because we had a 1 o'clock game, and we have pregame and all that the next day. We didn't practice on a Sunday. We've gotten to where we don't because the games are so early, but it's pretty. There's not enough time to say, oh, let's go to a movie or let's go do something. There's really not enough time for that.
Right. Did have one other one. We asked about your favorite dessert, I think, a week or two ago. They want to know if you have a famous place that you go to for Texas barbecue, and how big of a fan are you of Texas barbecue, or is that not you?
Yeah, I'm just not that big of a fan of barbecue.
Okay.
I mean, I like it. I love it. I like beef ribs. So Evie Mae, has anyone heard of Evie Mae? There's this place in Lubbock, Texas that they do their own, and it's amazing. So we do that when I go home and get that. But, yeah, I'm more when I get to Texas, I'm Tex-Mex, and I could almost live on that.
Okay, and then the last question I got before we're going to take a break, then we'll dive into one last big discussion before we wrap up the show. How much contact do you have with your mom during the season, and does she give you any coaching advice as the season goes along?
My mom yes, I talk to my mom every day. I call her every night, and just check in, and we have a visit. And she knows she was not happy with our team after USC. And I haven't told Bella this, but Mitzi was not happy with our team. And she told me that a couple of players didn't show up on the bus. And she never is like that. Like, she is not. And then the next day she apologized. She was like, please, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean that. And so just thrilled last night when I talked to her, and thrilled yet sad and all of that. But yeah, I talk to her every day, and she's my lifeline, so I gotta do that.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, a little bit more with Coach Kamie Ethridge. Again, if you've got questions, come on up and ask some questions for the coach. We're back after this. It's a Cougar Basketball Hour from Learfield.
Oh, there it is.
Now, I like my fantasy league and all, but it won't let me bet the spread on game day. So once my lineup's set, I head straight to Turf Club Sportsbook in Northern Quest for real sports betting and wall-to-wall HD TVs right off the casino floor. Heck, I can even place bets from my phone while I'm there with their new mobile app. That's another thing my fantasy league can't do. Turf Club Sportsbook, the ultimate game changer. Only in Northern Quest.
If you've got the right tools and the friendly people at U.S. Bank in your corner, making smarter money choices is a piece of cake. If only our tools and helpful advisors could have helped you avoid some of those not-so-smart choices in life. Like that time you tried to pick up unicycling.
Whoa, coming through! Yeah.
Or when you thought it'd be okay to pet that squirrel in the park.
Good squirrel, good squirrel.
While we can't help you with all that, we can help you bank smartly at usbank.com/smarter together. Member FDIC.
Whether you're looking to get away or you're ready to find your way back home, the best way to travel is with Alaska Airlines and the Pullman-Moscow Regional Airport. When you fly PUW, you're on an Embraer 175 jet with economy, first class, and premium seating. Multiple flights most days to Seattle and one direct to Boise. And with a new runway and instrument approach, PUW and Alaska Air get you there reliably. Use alaskaair.com and PUW, the Pullman-Moscow Regional Airport. Close, convenient, and connected.
At Washington State University Pullman, there's always a lot happening, and many activities are open to the community. It can be tough to know what's going on, where it's happening, and where you can park. But all of us at the Braulsford WSU Visitor Center love to help people find the answers. We keep a list of events, and I'll let you in on a secret. There's plenty of public parking on campus. You just need to know where to look. There's a new campus parking map to make it even easier, and if you need a temporary permit, we can help you with that too. We are here to connect community and campus at the Braulsford WSU Visitor Center on the corner of Main and Spring Streets near downtown Pullman.
Well, Steve Grubbs, welcome back again. It is your Cougar Basketball Hour with me and head coach Kamie Ethridge. Also want to thank Bella Murakatete for making her way up here as well throughout the hour. Your thoughts on Bella and her performance up here during the Cougar Basketball Hour?
Well, I mean, Bella is such a great role model and representative of our program, and she gets a little shy when she gets the microphone sometimes because she's not, and her personality, and like if you wanted her to do a TikTok, she'd be all in and you guys would just see the whole personality of her. But just love her. I mean, we have fought and we have hated each other probably. She probably more than me. She hates me more than I ever have hated her, but we've butted heads. But it's been such a trusting relationship and a belief in one another and a belief that I think she knows we want great for her, and holding her to a standard that she's got to try to achieve and has. I mean, I'm telling you, if you wanted a definition of transformation, you just have a picture of Bella, what she was and what she started and what she's become, and that is because of the work ethic that she's put in. Yes, we've given her structure. Yes, we've put everything around her in place, but if people don't want that and don't commit to it and aren't disciplined and don't change the way they think and train and are committed, it'll never happen. And she is an example of someone that bought in. And, again, we're going to count on her the rest of the way. She's got to step up and be just the biggest player imaginable for us.
Absolutely. I will tell you and your staff that one thing that I think has been remarkable for me watching you during your 6 years is watching your players progress from the day that they step foot on campus to when they leave campus, and what you guys give them, not only on the court, off the court as well, but we're here for the basketball hour, so we'll talk on the court. But off the court is just as important. But on the court, what you do and just watching them improve day in and day out, it's truly a credit to you and your staff, because I do think you transform these players into better players that can compete at the highest levels in this conference, and that's something to be said for, because again, I think that's what it takes to compete in the top 25 and to go for NCAA tournament berths, and I think that's what you guys do with your staff.
And it's basically by just going to exhaustion and failing and not being good enough and coming back the next day and understanding I'm probably not going to be good enough, and you come back again and you come back again. I mean, again, it's so many players come in and their conditioning level keeps them at such a low level. And Bella was one of those. Sorry, Bella, but like she would fall over on the floor her freshman year. And now she's fit and she can run like the wind, and then she needs a sub, but it's okay. We'll give her a sub early, and then she'll get back out there. But her fitness, her commitment, her explosiveness, her athleticism, her, just everything about it is trained and disciplined, and she's grown from what she was. I mean, she was just a little clay, a ball of clay, and now she's really a chiseled little Michelangelo, I guess, somewhat. And again, got work to do and can get better, and emotionally can get better, and obviously we need her to be so solid for us as we go forward.
As you take a look at three players off your bench this weekend, talk a little bit about what you saw out of Alex Scoville, especially against the bigs that we saw this weekend. A little bit about Jenna Villa, and then also Kira Gardner, as you mentioned, some huge minutes down the stretch against UCLA.
Alex, I don't know, we'll never forget that she blocked it. In back-to-back possessions, she blocked Rhea Marshall, who's like 6'3", elite player and athlete at USC, and then the next one she did Juju. She blocked both of them back-to-back, and that was probably the highlight of that game was Alex and how good she was and her pick and pop. And, like I said, I just think we've got to find ways to play a little bit different. We may have to be big. Bella's going to play with Alex in some of these matchups. We've got to be different because we can't replace Charlize and what she was. But we got some size, and we've got some different kinds of talents in that, with Alex with her pick and pop and her size. Again, I just like the fact that we have versatility in that post spot now. Jess as well. We've got bodies and things that we can throw at people. Jenna has always been that player that just has so much guts and gumption, and almost has a little cockiness to her that rubbed the upperclassmen the wrong way. It's like, what's with her? Like, she thinks she's that good, and she kind of carries herself like she's better than everybody, and she just belongs here, and I just love it. I love that you walk in and go, I belong here, and I'm good enough, and I'm going to shoot, and then if I miss it, I'm going to shoot again, and if I miss it, I'm going to shoot again, and you just don't have a conscience. And at this stage, she's elite at something, and we need her to be elite. Now, she also put it on the floor and helped us. She broke the press and helped us. She's growing her game leaps and bounds every time she steps on the floor.
Again,
Kira, I got to say, Kira. Kira, we need Kira. Kira, if Kira gets 15 minutes or more this year, I think she'll get double figures. I mean, we've got to give her. We need her to get some points. We need her to be solid on the defensive end, but I like her athleticism and what she can bring to us.
All right, one more quick break, then we'll be back for just a couple of minutes to wrap up the show. It is your Cougar Basketball Hour with head coach Kamie Ethridge, and we're live from Zeppo's on a Monday night.
With the WSU debit card from Giesa, it's hard to tell who's supporting who. When the Coug fans use their WSU card, they show off their Coug pride, and donations are made back to Cougar Athletics. But the card supports the Coug fan with big savings by helping them earn 7% APY with Smart Plus checking. So does the card support the Coug fan, or does the Coug fan support the card? It doesn't matter. All that matters is that the WSU card supports Cougar Athletics and your wallet at the same time. Get your WSU card at Giesa.com. Checking account transaction requirements, terms and conditions apply. Checking account annual percent yields range from 0.01 to 7% depending on balance. Minimum balance, certain APY ranges from 0
Hampton in Pullman is just a short drive from the WSU campus. Centrally located to restaurants and shopping, they've got you covered for all your lodging needs. With their spacious rooms, famous Hampton waffles, a cozy outdoor patio, a gift shop for all your Cougar gear needs, and the friendliest staff in town to make you feel right at home. Visit HamptonByHilton.com to reserve a room for your next trip to the Palouse. Coug owned and Coug managed. It matters where you stay. Hampton in Pullman, Hilton for the stay.
When you're out driving around the Palouse, be sure to stop by Tick Clock Drug in Colfax. Family owned and operated, they're your one-stop shop for pharmacy, healthcare, apparel, cards, home decor, and gifts for all ages. And for all your printing needs, be sure Cougar Graphics is the place to call. When it comes to paper, Cougar Graphics can print it. Tick Clock Drug and Cougar Graphics on Main Street in Colfax.
Close, convenient, connected. The Pullman-Moscow Regional Airport and Alaska Air get you where you want to go. And with Alaska's One World Alliance, that's just about anywhere. With multiple flights to Seattle most days, plus one to Boise, that's another reason to use PUW to get you home. By the time you're winding your way through Washtenaw on 26 or Winchester on 95, you'll be in Seattle or Boise. Save on gas, higher parking fees, and your time. Fly PUW, the Pullman-Moscow Regional Airport, your Cougar and Alaska hometown airport.
Well, back with you for the final couple minutes of the show. Again, Steve Grubbs with you, and head coach of the Washington State University women's basketball team, Kamie Ethridge. Again, coach, you've done so many firsts of this program, and again, a win over number 2 on Sunday, the highest as far as the rankings are concerned that a Cougar team has knocked down. And never before they beaten either a number 1 or a number 2 team. What does that mean to you as a coach? I mean, obviously you've been asked this, I'm sure, many times, but to set these firsts at the program, and I mean, that's a pretty lofty one, beating a number 2 team in the country.
Right. I mean, now we're getting to, we've established ourselves with, some of our firsts were like just an example of a bad program. Right. 20-win season is the best in your program history. Like, that's great for your team to do that if you've never done that, but it's not the standard that you need to compete at the highest level. Beating a top 2 team in the country is showing that you're getting better and you're competing against some of the best teams in the country. That's the building blocks that the people before us have done. Ula's back in the back there. I mean, people that came in when we first got here and just got their brains beat in kind of first couple of years and just found a way to win, and then ledger walkers come in here and establish a higher level, and and now that's the standard. The ones that come in are wanting that, and they want to hang a banner. That team last year hung a banner that's never been up there. So you're right. Like, this is just another. It's we don't knock them off anymore. We don't go another first as many as we did 2 years ago. Right. But that's a good statement. That's a good thing, because our program's just getting to the point where we got to go against the elite now. We're not in the average area, and we want to hang banners that are elite, not average.
And I guess the last statement tonight, 4 straight at home. Let's get the people out to Beasley and have ourselves a good homestand.
I mean, I saw the men's game, and Kyle Smith is killing it, and the men are killing it, and I love it. But they've had like almost 4,000, 5,000 people, and a great. Not the best it needs to be. Everybody needs more, and we should be in there more based on what they're doing. But the same for us. We need that kind of fan base coming in to watch this team play. We need it more than ever. If we're a little wounded and we don't have Charlize, we got to make up for it on the court and in the stands. So just get your friends and anybody else you can pick up on the street, anyone that you know or don't know, just bring them anyway. And let's get a big crowd and show them what it's like to play in front of a bunch of Cougs.
Friday night against Colorado, 7 o'clock, noon on Sunday against Utah. Congratulations on the win, Coach, and thank you so much for the time.
Thanks, everybody. Go Cougs.
That's going to do it for us. It's been the Cougar Basketball Hour from Learfield.